Well, good evening, good evening, good evening. Let me hurry up and say good evening to DJ Rock and Ron because I know you're on your way to Bible study and we're already on the mark. So I appreciate you for being in here, my brother. I love you. This is my Wednesday night, running a little bit late because I had meetings on this evening, but I am glad to be here. Bishop of Twitch, One Reason, is here as he always is. So much love and peace to you, my brother. I love you and thank you for being in the house. J Trey 707, that's my girl, that's my love, that's my beautiful friend. It's so good to see you. Truck driver. Listen, that's my Mufasa, and it's good to see you on tonight. Y'all, I'm just full. I'm happy. I'm excited. Just to kind of, I shared my meetings on Wednesday. I'm getting ready to record an album of my original compositions of gospel music, and we're putting all of that in effect and in place. That will take place later on this year in Dallas, Texas. So if you get a chance and you're in the area, I'll give you TBA, to be announced, the actual time and date where that will take place. But I think we've got almost everything solidified. But in the meantime, my Wednesday nights, we meet and we congregate and finish all the planning to make sure that that can go off without a hitch. And I'm excited. I am just, God is blessing us with some powerful singers and voices. And I'm excited. I'm like, Truck, I need your voice. Cassandra, I need your voice. But anyway, we're having a great time. I do want to say, yesterday we had a very, very, I see you, DJ Rock and Ron. We had a very, very good session on yesterday in our Bible study. And this is another thing that I am excited about because I've been working to put all of these different pieces in place. So we have a platform that you all will be able to come in when we need afterglow sessions. I have a platform where you can come in and we can all be on video, or we can, if you choose to be, or you can just join us by phone, of up to 500 people. So we've got that ready to go for you. And then the piece that I'm very excited about is as well. Last night, Stay Lifted was here with me, and I tell you, she blessed me all through last night's teaching. Last night we talked and started on epigenetics. So, and some of you may have been in the room, but not in the chat. Uh, Stay Lifted obviously has some exposure to epigenetics and to some of the studies that are out there currently about epigenetics. So she blessed my whole soul and blessed my socks off. Now, you don't have to worry, but I'm going to say this, and this is what I'm excited about. I have, as of today, been able to get the transcripts, and the videos will be out there edited from not a real heavy post edit, but it will have some edits to it. But what I'm excited about, for those of you that have sent me your email addresses, and if you would like to have the transcripts of the class after the class is concluded, I am able to get that to you. And I'm just really excited about that. Stay Lifted. I don't know if you're out there listening or not, and it's okay even if you're not. But I've got that transcript from last night. That epigenetics session that we had last night was excellent. And so I will be sending last night's transcript, and this is a written transcript. I'll also have the edited version of the session out there in Facebook. I'm sorry, not Facebook, YouTube. So I'll be taking that down, the one that we actually did on last night. I'll be taking that one down, and I will be uploading the edited version, and then from that, significant clips that I feel will be impactful on our nightly sessions. I'll put those clips in there as well. So I told you, I was working and moving forward to try to bring some different levels and dimensions to what we have going on here in the Lion's Den. Man, I read that transcript and my soul got happy. I just got to say, as I read that transcript from last night's class, my soul got happy. So, again, if you want to be a recipient of the transcripts and that kind of information that we have going out, you definitely want to send me your email. Just send me an email at the spiritual thought leader. Spell it all out. The spiritual thought leader at outlook.com. And then some of you, I already have your email addresses from when I had Institute for Higher Consciousness. I may already have it, but if you just want to be sure, go ahead and send me an email to the spiritual thought leader at outlook.com, and I will send you. I feel like you really are going to want to have the transcript on epigenetics. It was a great class on yesterday. All right. Now, I normally don't come in with the announcements, and I may announce it again at the end, but I just wanted to address that because I am excited. I can't lie. I'm excited. And I'll be glad to get these into people's hands where if you were not able to catch the conversation or something did not stick with you, you can have the written transcript and go back and read it if you like, or you can have the audio. Now, let's get going. We don't spend a lot of time talking and chatting. I try to jump right in so we can get to the meat and get in and out. I want to say happy Wednesday to everybody, and I appreciate you all allowing me to come in late on Wednesdays due to my meetings, and I appreciate you for that. All right, now tonight, March the 5th, can you believe that? We are settling down in the plains of Moab. Let me go ahead and share my screen so you can see where I am. We are settling down in the plains of Moab. That's what we have going on tonight. I think I'll scroll that up just a little bit so you can see it at the top of the page. East of Jordan. So we're now ready to get over into the promised land. Settling down in the plains of Moab of Jordan. Then we've got Balak seeks a curse, and then Balaam's ass talks. Then Balaam's prophecy and the compromise with Moab in the marriage and idolatry. So those are the areas that we're going to, in today's reading, we're going to have you reading that. Again, I just pick out highlights. I don't talk about all of the conversation, everything that happened in the day, because the day should roughly be, if you're giving it some time, it's going to roughly be around at least 45 minutes to an hour's reading, somewhere in there, if you're actually studying the material. So as we move, I want to go to, I'm going to talk about the ass talking, Numbers 22, and just begin to, this is, I think, a very, let me get the right keyboard here. I think this is a very familiar passage of scripture, and then it may not be. I don't know. Some things that I think are very common, and for others it may be obscure. So Numbers, the 22nd chapter, and then we're going to start at verse 22. And let's go 22. Let's see, 22 to 41 is where we're going to concentrate on this evening. All right. So here we go. And hold on to your weave and hold on to your wig. So let me get my live back up here. As we get ready to talk tonight, well, let me just go ahead and put the scriptures up, because I can do one of, no weave, no wig. Come on here, Chef Nobi. No weave, no wig. And God's anger was kindled because he went, and the angel of the Lord stood in the way for an adversary against him. Now he was riding upon his ass, and we're talking about Balaam, or Balak, or Balaam. I'm sorry. And so he was riding upon his ass. And I'm gonna tell y'all. Let me tell you how uh we didn't know cuss words when I was growing up. When I say that to you, I'm not joking. Somebody said, "Oh, she said S." I was like, "S." I was like, "What's S?" I remember my cousin. I spent the summer with her. Uh, one summer we go back and forth, and she'd stay with me, and then I'd stay with her. Yeah, we didn't say S. We didn't say S. And then I remember we were in the car, and my aunt had gone into the grocery store. She said, "Oh, did you hear what he said?" I said, "What did he say, girl?" She said he called her a SOB. I said, "Oh," and I thought sob was a bad word. Because there was absolutely positively no cussing in my parents' house. My mother, we couldn't say dog, we couldn't say darn, we couldn't say gosh, we couldn't say none of it. My mother said all of that was cussing's kin. So yes, Chef Nobi, she said he called her SOB, or it was the other way around. She called him SOB, and I was like, oh, like I knew what she was talking about. I thought sob was a bad word. But the one word that I did know was very, very touchy in our church was anytime you got to the word ASS. And they would probably spell it instead of say ass. Now we know we're talking about a donkey, but we couldn't say any of that. It was slang. All of that was slang. And as my mother said, as somebody said that, my goddaughter at my mother's homegoing celebration, she said, one thing I won't ever forget about Grandma Stillman was cussing's kin, and the audience just fell out. But listen, my parents didn't play. It was no profanity in our house. So every time I read about the ass, the listen, we and more times than not, they were probably going to replace it with donkey. So anyway, that's always humorous to me. Some of you may not get any humor out of that, but if you were raised in the way strict environment that I was raised, you understand what I'm talking about. God's anger was kindled against because he went, and the angel of the Lord stood in the way for an adversary against him. Right, Chef Nobi, I see you. Now he was riding upon his ass, and his two servants were with him. And the ass saw the angel of the Lord standing in the way, and his sword drawn in his hand. And the ass turned aside of the way, and went into the field, and Balaam smote the ass to turn her into the way. Now, so what we have going on here is that Balaam's trying to do something that he's not supposed to be doing. God has already given a word. And so you can read this in, he went trying to get a curse. And at the end of the day, we have this whole scenario that unfolds where the donkey starts talking. Now, a lot of times you'll hear this scripture well, let me go ahead and read it. Let me go ahead and read it because I'll turn on 100 different roads. But the angel of the Lord stood in the path of the vineyards, a wall being on this side and a wall on that side. And when he saw the ass of the angel of the where are we at? And when he saw the ass of the angel of the Lord, she thrust herself unto the wall and crushed Balaam's foot against the wall, and he smote her. And the angel of the Lord went further and stood in a narrow place where was no way to turn either to the right hand or to the left. And when the ass saw the angel of the Lord, she fell down under Balaam. And Balaam's anger was kindled, and he smote the ass with the staff. And the Lord opened the mouth of the ass, and she said unto him, I just love this passage of scripture, and I think that's why I pulled this out tonight, because I love it. I love it. And the Lord opened the mouth of the ass, and she said unto Balaam, what have I done unto thee, that thou hast smitten me these 3 times? The ass is counting. You understand what I'm saying? Chef Nobi. I love this story. I love it. I love it. I love it. People, listen, I say there's drama in the Bible. There's love story in the Bible. There's comedy in the Bible. Everything is in there. And this is one of those stories, Chef Nobi. It just cracks me up too every time I read it. So you all endure me in my folly while I enjoy this ass. So the ass said, why are you beating me? In essence, you done hit me 3 times. 1, 2, 3. And I J Trey, that ass was donkey. And it was salty. It was like, why are you beating? And I love the fact that the donkey could count. I love this. I love this. And Balaam said unto the ass, because thou hast mocked me. Now, can I say this? Sometimes, Chef Nobi, I love this story. So everybody else may not be getting the pleasure out of it that I am, but this is one of my favorites for comedy. And Balaam said to the ass, because thou hast mocked me, I would there was a sword. Listen, Balaam's so mad at this ass. He's like, I would kill you if I had a sword. I would there were a sword in my hand, for now I would kill thee. And the ass said unto Balaam, am I not thine ass, upon which thou hast ridden ever since I was in thine unto this day? Was I ever want to do so unto thee? Is there anything I haven't done? Is there anything that you've ever asked me to do that I've been disobedient? And he said, nay. And the Lord opened the eyes of Balaam, and he saw the angel of the Lord standing in the way, and his sword drawn in his hand, and he bowed down his head and fell flat on his face. And the angel of the Lord said unto him, wherefore hast thou smitten thine ass these 3 times? Behold, I went out to withstand thee, because thy way is perverse before me. And the ass saw me and turned from me these 3 times. Now, I could really go a whole lot of places with this. I could do play on words. I could do a whole lot of manipulating this story. It's funny all by itself, just as it's written, J Trey. Just as it's written. And the ass saw me and turned from me these 3 times, unless she had turned from me. Surely now also I had slain thee and saved her alive. So it's the angel's like, listen, I could have killed you and let the donkey live. And Balaam said to the angel of the Lord, I have sinned, for I knew not that thou stoodest in the way against me. Now therefore, if it displease thee, I will get me back again. And the angel of the Lord said unto Balaam, go with the men, but only the word that I shall speak unto thee, thou shalt speak. Now, you know, Balak done sit him out here trying to buy a curse, you know, and I got something for people that, you know, you got curses and all this kind of stuff to speak against people and carrying on. Oh my God. So the Lord is telling Balaam, listen, I'm not with you. What you getting ready to do, I'm not in it. I have nothing to do with it. I tried to block you with the angel of the Lord with the sword. And while you were so stiff-necked and stubborn-hearted and so determined to be on your way to do what you're going to do in your own willfulness, your donkey saved your life. Come on here. He said, so the Lord said to Balaam, go with the men, but only the word that I shall speak unto thee, thou shalt speak. So Balaam went with the prince of Balak. And when Balak heard that Balaam was come, he went out to meet him unto a city of Moab, which was in the border of Ammon. And there's more, it goes on. He said, Chef Nobi, God said, I'm not in that. Now, there's more to the story, and maybe this will whet your appetite to go ahead and read the rest of what happened. So it starts in Numbers. We're in Numbers 22. Just read all of that. And then today's reading also goes through Numbers 23 and all the way through Numbers 25. So all of that's in today's reading. I want to just pause for the cause, and I'm not going to spend a lot of time on today's text because there's just, it's a beautiful, what do I want to say, a picture for us to see of how so many times we can be so caught up in whatever it is that we feel like we want to do, whatever it is we feel like we want to say, whatever it is we feel like we want to act in a certain way. And we don't see God putting signs right there in front of us that, now you would think the donkey, being a donkey, would not have the discernment and the spiritual vision. Come on and hear me. We would think that the donkey, and y'all can go ahead and use that other word if you're used to using the other word when talking about people, but you would think that the donkey would not have the discernment nor the spiritual vision to see and understand what he was seeing. And actually, it seems like it was a female donkey. So at the end of the day, when we see the behavior that Balaam maneuvers with, and we see the energy that Balaam has, and we see the, oh, what's the word I want to use? The dismissiveness. The dismissiveness. And I'm using the word dismissive because the donkey, when she begins to speak, she says to him, have I ever, in all the time that I've served you, have I ever not done what you asked me to do? And so, in other words, Balaam, common sense, if nothing else, should tell you, if I'm refusing to go forward, there's some reason why I'm refusing to go forward. And rather than you acknowledge that I'm in the spirit, even though you want to say you ain't nothing but my ass, I'm in the spirit on the Lord's day, because every day is the Lord's day. Instead of you understanding that I am seeing with a spiritual eye, I am discerning what's actually going on. Now you done hit me, I done fell up against the wall, I done crushed your foot, listen, everybody was irritated and agitated up in that piece. You understand what I'm saying? The donkey's like, quit hitting me. And I'm not going to, while the angel of the Lord is standing there with a sword, I am not going to defy God and take you where God does not want you to go. Now, you can beat me if you want to, and I done got your foot, and you mad because I done crushed your foot in the wall, and you are so angry you're threatening to kill me when all I'm trying to do is preserve your life. Now, I want you to take the analogies away here. I want you to see, if you will, even what we consider, and yes, what did you say, Chef Nobi? You tried to say as and get away with that. We couldn't get away with that either. So at the end of the day, while we are so strong-headed, bullheaded, if I can use that term, strong-willed, determined, God will take something that is absolutely foolish. You were told not to go somewhere and did it, and it did not, hey, it didn't turn out good. I'm trying to tell you. God will send messengers. It didn't turn out right. God will send messengers, and the point that I love about this story, sometimes the messenger that's delivering the message is where you least expected it to come from. Am I talking to anybody? Can I say it once more and again? Sometimes the message is coming to you through a messenger that you least expect it to come from. And what I want you to do is to sensitize yourselves. We're talking about being relational and in fellowship with God. Sometimes we have discredited. As a matter of fact, I want to say it was in one of our Bible studies, and I don't remember who it was. I hope I'm not mistelling this story, but if I recall, somebody said they were in church and a drunk man came into the church. And while the church was looking down their noses in a condescending way with an attitude, God spoke a word, and a word of rhema word. Was that you, truck driver? Thank you. A rhema word came through this individual that was inebriated and intoxicated. And the church was looking at them, him, her, whoever they were, crazy, because again, to the church, that was the equivalent. The church was the equivalent of Balaam, and that drunk individual was the equivalent of that donkey or that ass. And we need to be very, very mindful. And that's what I love about this story, the irony of it, that this donkey had the vision and the understanding, while this man that's getting ready to go, come on here, and it's like, listen, I'm all that in a bag of chips, if I can put it that way. And at the end of the day, here we have the Lord saying to him, no, because listen, what you're getting ready to do and what you're getting ready to, I'm not in that. And as a matter of fact, now that the donkey has finally gotten your attention by speaking, I'm going to tell your mouth what to say. It was a drug addiction. Come on here, truck driver. Thank you. I'm going to put in your mouth what to say. And you speak the word that I give you and don't say nothing else. This lesson is so wonderful to teach us never, ever, ever judge a book by its cover. And if God wants to speak a word to you through whomever, have the spiritual wherewithal to identify this is the word of the Lord. Or this person is telling me and giving me instruction. This person is giving me directives for my life, for my sustainability, for me. Because just like listen, the angel of the Lord could have just as easily smote him and killed him and left the donkey. Do y'all understand? This story is so good. This is so good. It's rich, y'all. This is rich. Because how many of us, if we are honest with ourselves, have been Balaam? How many of us have been in Balaam's shoes? Am I talking to anybody? Really, sometimes it's been your children that had a word for you. Sometimes it's been another family member that you would least expect. Sometimes it's been a stranger. Sometimes it's, but all I'm telling, and sometimes it's been an animal. Can we go? Dogs, cats, animals. God will use all of his creation, clouds in the sky, water. God will use whatever God wants to use to get your attention to speak. And because we come in with our high-mindedness and our I know it all attitudes, God is speaking the whole time and we don't hear anything. God is using the animals to give and deliver a message. And you listen, if we even go back to, and I know we can say this is just sheer nature, but if we go back, you remember they had that severe tsunami in Indonesia. I don't remember what year it was, that devastated everything. And somebody brought attention to the fact, if they had just paid attention to the animals, all of the animals got up and left. Y'all understand the words that are coming out of my mouth? All of the animals got up and left and sought higher ground away from the seashore. And listen, the people still down there just a swimming. The people down there just sashaying around. The people down there just having a high time and do-si-do, your partners all. And if they had just paid attention to, when they saw the animals leaving up out of there, somebody should have said, what's really going on? But because too many times we are so engrossed in ourselves, we are so engrossed in our own world, we are so engrossed in what hey, this involves me. And at the end of the day, they even started talking about, because a lot of times before that tsunami actually hits, the water was talking to them. What do you mean, spiritual thought leader? The water was talking to them. They will tell you that preceding and before a tsunami, you'll see the water exceed extremely away from the shore. Are y'all listening to me? The water was saying, y'all, I'm getting ready to do something up here. I'm getting ready to show out. I'm getting ready to manifest with power. But here we've got nature that gave them indicators, and the animals leaving and all going to hide. Now, isn't that amazing? How you think about that? When you look at those pictures of the tsunami, you don't see animals out there floating in that water. You see human beings. You see all manner of concrete, boats, cars, all of this man-made stuff just floating and dripping. You do not see animals out there floating dead in that water, because they had already vacated the premises. Am I talking to anybody? The water, I'm going to say it once more and again, when it pulled away and receded from the shoreline, and y'all was just standing out there on the naked sand. I'm trying to get us to hear more than just what we have trained ourselves and we've believed it has to come this way, and it has to come through this person, and it has to come through that person. Some of y'all, if it doesn't come from the man of God or the woman of God, you can't receive it. If it's, I'm hoping you all are hearing the moral to the story. So many messages that are coming loud and clear, we miss it. And so if you don't take anything else away from this, and then by all means, I can't leave out how Balaam's behavior towards the ass. Instead of you recognizing that there's a reason why I will not go forward, you're going to beat me. And it's why do I stop and make that last point before I get out of here? Be careful how you treat the messenger. Come on, you got to get rid of the mental clutter, Crystal Method. You got to get rid of the mental clutter, because God, you remember, and I mentioned this the other day, even Saul, whose name was changed to Paul, he heard the voice of God speaking, but all they heard was thunder. Moses understood the voice of God speaking. All the people heard was thunder. I'm going to say it again. The animals went to higher ground. The people were not perceptive. The water receded from the shore, telling them something's getting ready to happen. The people did not, because we will not open ourselves up, our minds, our eyes, our spirits up and see what it, because too many times, as Crystal Method is saying, we've got mental clutter. And we're not observing. I'm going to say this and I'm going to get out. My dear friend, Stacy 546, she had a heart attack that they called the Widowmaker. And the one thing, and she's already shared this. She's already shared this, so I'm not sharing something that I don't have permission to share. She said she felt perfectly fine. I'm talking about listening to everything, including the animals. Y'all can think she's off her rocker. What is she talking about? I'm telling you, pay attention. She said she felt perfectly fine. Got up, went to the bathroom, felt perfectly fine. But her dog, his name is Norman. Norman's my nephew. My nephew Norman, the dog, was going crazy. Going crazy. And she said, came back, getting ready to lie down, whatever. And she said, Norman had really got her attention because he was going crazy. But she said, Norman literally sounded like he was crying like a human baby. And at that point, she figured something's going on. Pain hit, phone call, or she may have actually had the pain before when Norman started crying. And the doctor said if she had been 5 minutes longer getting to the hospital, there was no chance for survival. And when I tell you, when I saw Norman again, I was telling Norman, thank you. That's my nephew. That's my dog. That's my nephew, the dog. I'm telling you, come on, truck driver. You're from the country, and when you see cows starting together, you know a storm is coming, and that is absolutely correct. Lord, give us ear to hear. Help us to see through your eyes so we can pay attention. This is the moral of the story right there. Do not discount and discredit anything, because God is constantly speaking to us, and especially when it comes to him giving us warnings of what is to come, or when he's given us, again, as was the case here with the donkey, don't go there, don't move, don't go another further. Let us have ears to hear and help us to see through God's eyes. Help us to pay attention. And when I tell you that to this day, you know, and there is that, I'm going to come back to this. I thank God for Norman saving Stacy 546 life. Truly, he did. But if we stop and think, even now, they have service animals because they can sense things and they do pick up things. They have service animals that can help us but you got to listen to you. If it's a dog, you got to listen to the animal when it's trying to tell you and show you what it's trying to tell you. Open our eyes. Come on here, Crystal Method. Help us to pay attention and receive the word however the Lord wants to deliver. Don't you get stubborn and say, if it doesn't come from this person, or better yet, if it comes through that person, I'm not going to receive it. It might be the least that you expected. It might be who you consider to be your enemy. It might be somebody you don't even care for or like, for that matter. But if they have the word from the Lord, am I talking to anybody? It's not for you to keep smacking them and hitting them and beating them. If they have the word from the Lord, hear the word of the Lord. All right? That's what I love about this story. I love it. I love it. I love it. Balaam and the donkey. Now, I'm going to say this in closing as I get out of here. But don't feel like you're doing me a favor, preachers that are still steeped in patriarchy, when you talk about women in ministry and use that analogy. If God can use an ass to talk, he can use anybody. That is not a compliment. In case you didn't know. That is not a compliment. So I want to address that too before I get up out of here. Come on, truck. If God is sending you a message, receive it. It doesn't matter who he sends it through. It is not a compliment, Crystal Method. Whomever and whatever God uses, pay attention. Pay attention. All right. And that's it. I'm not going to go a whole lot of places. You got quite a bit of reading because you're going to start at the 22nd chapter and you need to get all the way to the end of the 25th, ready for the 26th chapter. So if you haven't done the reading for the rest of it, because again, what is the goal? The goal is not just for me to teach verse by verse, chapter by chapter. The goal is for us to read from Genesis to Revelations together, and we're doing it on a daily basis. So on your own, I'm touching on the highlights, but on your own, you're reading. And if anybody has questions, which again, I think Stay Lifted for bringing a question. The question she brought us the other day, she got from the reading. It was not something that I covered, and then I came back the next day and covered it in totality. If you have questions as you're reading that you want to pose and put out there, please bring them. I hope that you are actually reading the passages of scripture. I want to say DJ Rock and Ron, who's in Bible study himself right now, but he came through to show us the love. Mad love to you. One reason the Bishop of Twitch in the room. J Trey 707, I love you, sis. Truck driver, that's my Mufasa coming on down. And Nobi is in the room. So much love to you, Chef Nobi. Listen, and I'm glad you got a good laugh out of that because that story is hilarious. That story is absolutely positively hilarious. Crystal Method, it's good to see you in the house right now. So much love to you as well. And to others of you who may not be in my chat, but at the end of the day, you're here or you may see this on demand. I'm going to make this last announcement once more and again. I am excited to say if you would like to have the transcripts, the written transcripts, I will have last night's transcript available, and this point going forward, I will have transcripts available for those that would like to have them. You need to send me an email at the spiritual thought leader, all spelled out, the spiritual thought leader at outlook.com. The spiritual thought leader at outlook.com. I will be mailing out yesterday's transcript, which we talked about epigenetics. It was a great class. It was a phenomenal class. So the epigenetics will be going out shortly. I've pretty much got it ready and it's good to go. I just need to send it out to the various emails. If you would like to have a transcript of any of the teachings, you may not want them every day. There may be one that resonates with you that you want to go back and look at it and reread it and have it in your hands. Send me your email address at thespiritualthoughtleader@outlook.com, and I'm happy to send those to you. I'm happy to be making this transition into the next phase of being able to offer you a little bit more than just coming in and listening to me talk. But again, you can see these on demand. I will have yesterday's edited version. The unedited version is in YouTube right now, and you can also see it on Twitch. But YouTube is going to be my go-to location. So you can go to YouTube and see what is there. And I will be putting the updated edited version of yesterday's teaching out tonight once we wrap this session up. So we're moving on, and as I said, the last announcement that I want to make too, we do have the Afterglow platform ready to go, where if we have more discussion that we need to have or want to engage in after this session is over to the general public, I do have that set up. We can do it by video or by phone. You can come in whatever way you want, up to 500 participants. So I've been working to make this transition so everybody I want to be able to meet whatever needs you all are saying that you have in the way of questions and discussions. All right. I love you. It's a good day. It's a great day. I hope that you will open your ears, open your eyes, receive the message from whoever, from wherever God sends it to you, and don't kick against the prick. And please don't shoot the messenger. I love you guys with the love of God. I want you to have a great evening. And Chef Nobi, keep on laughing and crying because that's a great story. Peace for your journey.